Hello people! Today we're going to be doing a fall set which I'm calling Organic Autumn. And you may be surprised to know I'm fairly pleased with how this set came out. The colors are not really my cup of tea, but I like the way the whole thing came out. Okay, I'm starting off with Beetles polish. And on the pinky we're going with the darkest green. Excuse me. Now originally when I pulled colors for this, instead of this green right here, I was going to use an orange, kind of a darker orange. And then I opted against that one because I just thought it was going to be too orangey. I don't know. I just decided not to. So with that in mind, that's why I pulled this particular color of brown, because it had a little more of an orangey color to it. So whether it doesn't exactly go as well as I had hoped with the greens, but it is what it is. This is the Venalisa Mud Gel, which I bought these initially to use for painting, and then I discovered I could also use these as stamping polish, which was pretty awesome because now I just got a huge upgrade in my colors of stamping polishes that I had, because I only have very few. But anyway, we're just going in with this. I'll be doing 2 coats of all of these. If I had put this one on a little heavier, I could have probably gotten by with 1 coat of this mud gel, but I didn't. So anyway, we're going to go in with 2 as soon as we get the ends, free edge capped off there. Okay, going to go cure those. And like magic, they're done, and we're back again. 2nd coat. Now it probably goes without saying at this point, but this part has been all sped up to double time. I tried to do that as much as I possibly could in here in an effort to shorten the video a bit. I know some of my videos can get rather lengthy, but sometimes to see the whole process, it takes the time. Okay, and the 2nd coat of the mud gel. I had originally bought 30 colors of this, so there's the full set of them were 60 colors, so not too long ago I broke down and bought the other 30 colors, which I have not swatched the second 30 yet. So at some point I'm going to get around to that, and then I will have the full set, finally a full set of some kind of a product of these mud gels. It is fairly nice to work with. It's smooth and it goes on pretty easily. Now I did put these on very thin because I didn't want to worry about wrinkles. Okay, step 2. We are moving on to, now we're going to do a side-by-side comparison with base coat versus blooming gel. I finally bought an actual bottle of blooming gel, if you guys can believe that. I've only ever used base coat so far. So we're going to start the first one off. I'm going to use the blooming gel. Now I discovered when doing this that there is a difference between the two. Now that I've used actual blooming gel for once, it seems to be a lot thicker than the base coat. Now also, for my squiggly lines down the middle, I started off with my detailer brush, and then I just ended up switching, after I use up what's on the palette, I'm going to switch over to just the bottle brush that what the stuff came with. because I didn't need to be, you know, this precise with the skinny line. I mean, it's going to be a little bit wider line, but it's not going to be so precise that I needed to have the detailer brush. Also, this part is really hard to see for you guys on camera. I know I was having a hard time seeing it as I was doing it, trying to see where I already put it, and you know, if my edges were smooth and whatnot. I suppose I guess I could have put a layer of matte top on these, so I would have been able to see where I'm putting the blooming gel a lot easier. But I didn't think of it at the time, so this is what I did. I'm just going to smooth my edges off. I don't want them to be real choppy, although once again, they're going to have a line of glitter polish along the edges of this stripe on both sides of it, so it doesn't need to be perfectly smooth. But you guys know how I am. I gotta try to make it perfect anyway. I was going for a real organic look with this set, hence the name Organic Autumn. But okay, now we've got the stripe on there. You can't see it, but it's there. We had a little spot there that separated, but okay. I think we're good to go with the stuff. Okay, firstly I'm going to start off with the darker green. And then I'm just going to take some little dots of this and put them into the blooming gel. Now, what I did notice with the blooming gel being that it's thicker, all the little dots of polish that I put on there here, they spread out, but they're staying in their own little color cells. They're not like running into each other and then turning into a big green blob. But that's the main difference that I found in the blooming gel and the base coat. On the next nail, I'm going to use base coat, and you'll see what I mean about the colors wanting to run together. See how these are nicely staying in their own little cell of color. Even as it continues to disperse, they don't run together. They're just staying in their little dots, or well, they're not dots anymore, but whatever shape they were. Okay, that one I got a little much on there. I had never done this method before. I know this is an old one that everybody was doing at one time, but since I had started using gel polish, I had never done this one. I don't know why. And I have some other ideas that I may go with for this, with that blooming gel method. I was trying to see where the gel was on there because I couldn't see myself where I had put it. Because the polish was kind of shiny, and so was the, whoopsie. That one was my fault, but those all ran together at the bottom. That's my fault. I put too many close together on there. I think we're done with this one, unless I wet that bottom part off and do that one again. I don't remember. Nope, I think we're done with that one. Okay. Now this one here, we're going to use base coat this time instead of the blooming gel. And you'll see right away the difference on here. Now, I did mess up the top of this myself, which was my fault. And I did have to take off a little bit of it and go again. I'll see, I'm just going to use the bottle brush here because it was just way easier. Seeing as how I don't need to have an exact perfect swoosh of stuff going. I was trying to see where it was. This one was even harder to see than the other one. we go. Now I think at the beginning of this my drops were just way too big. But when I get one on there, you'll see. I'm trying to figure out where my line is too. Now see, this causes it to disperse much quicker. Now see, look how they're already starting to run together. So I wiped those off. And we got to put some new blooming gel there. I mean, some new base coat. That partly was my fault because I put way too big of a dot on there, too close together. But okay, if you see it again, you'll notice when it gets on there, it disperses a lot faster. So you have to be a little more careful about not putting stuff too close together. See, it's taking the little dots and just making them humongous, which I wasn't liking. But they do disperse much, much quicker. See, I've got way too much polish on my brush right there now. Although I believe I was doing it that way on the other one and I didn't have this problem. And see how some of the dots are kind of running together there towards that middle? That's the main difference that I see between the blooming gel and the base gel. If you want it to disperse quickly, I guess use the base gel. If you're doing a marble, which is what I mainly have used it for, the base gel works perfectly fine for me. But for something like this here, not so much. I guess I could have just spaced out my little dots more and not use such big drops of polish, but you see how it's just kind of mushy looking. I wasn't super happy with that. I'm trying to get some littler ones on there because most of them look big. Okay, stop. You've got too much. Just stop. And I'm putting more on. Alright, well, there it is. Well, let's look at it next to the other one and you'll totally see the difference. Okay. Now see how much neater the one on the left with the blooming gel is? Now mind you, that has not been cured yet. They're still all separated. The other one all mushed together. So what I did was I wiped it off, I put blooming gel on, and I redid it. There it is, redone. Now moving on to the other one. At this point, I'm only going to use the blooming gel for the rest of these, seeing as how I got the answer I was looking for as to what the difference between the two is. So there you guys know now, in case you didn't know already. Yeah, it killed me to spend the money on that bottle of blooming gel. I think it cost me around 15 bucks for that bottle, plus shipping. And that was on Prime Day, too. Yeah, that's probably the most expensive bottle of polish, and it's not even really polish, it's blooming gel that I've ever bought, because I won't spend that kind of money on a bottle of polish. To me, that's just overly priced. I don't think there's any reason it needs to cost that much. And with your real higher end polishes, I mean, basically you're just paying for the fancy bottles. At least I think so. That's my opinion. Anybody out there sees this that happens to be with one of the higher end polishes, I'd be more than happy to test them out. And if you want to prove me wrong, you can send me some, and I'd be more than happy to test them. I'm hoping at some point to to become a brand ambassador for a polish where I can have all of the colors and just go crazy with it. Maybe someday. I think I need to get a bit better at this first. Alright, now on this one, we're going to use the lighter green. Now this one didn't work as well. It doesn't show up as well on that base color. Now this is the one that I was originally going to use like a dark orange for. Maybe I should have stuck with that. I don't know. See, this one, I mean, it's going on nicely. It just doesn't show up on that base color very well. So, oh, that was a very big bit there. Whoops, that dot didn't even make it onto the where the gel is. Well, we'll clean that up later. Next time I do a marble too, I'm going to use the blooming gel just to see if I like that any better. Seems to me on the marbles that I would want it to disperse more quickly so it'll get done doing its thing so I can get it in the lamp quicker, but I don't know, we'll see. I'll try the blooming gel, maybe I'll like it better, I don't know. It definitely works better for this aspect. Now see how big that dot is of that there on the bottom? That particular spot right there at the very tip of that nail ended up wrinkling on me. Because it got too thick of a dot of stuff on there. And those two didn't make it into the gel either. Oh boy. Alright. Now we're going to clean off those ones that are not where they're supposed to be over up there and in the middle. I guess I'm just taking the whole top of this one off. I think I decided it was the dots were too big and it was too solidly on there. So we're going to go back in here with some smaller ones at the top. I forgot that I had done that on here. Alright, we're going to clean off that little bit there. And then we're done with this one, I believe, and those are ready to cure. And those others have dispersed quite nicely. I think I'm going to leave that one sit for just a little bit. Oh, I smeared that one somehow, so I clean that off. I think I let it sit for a bit so that last one could disperse a little better before I went and put it in the lamp. It looks like it's almost a solid line of the lighter green, but it really isn't. Okay, next step. We're going to use this glitter paint, polish, whatever it is. Now I could have gone on and used my detailer brush for this part, but I had got these new striper brushes a while back and I thought this would be a little easier. They're not the same kind of style of striper that I'm used to using. They're more of like just a brush with a skinny end on there, so the harder you press, the wider your stripe is going to get. So you're going to have to, it's going to be a learning curve for me because I'm going to have to use the same pressure whenever I do something with stripes. all the way down the whole thing. Anyway, this is a kind of copper colored glitter polish. I'm just going to outline these little center areas where we did the blooming gel. Just to give them a little bit of sparkle. And I had stirred that up now, and I'm going to just go over a couple of areas where it seemed like it was a little bit sparse. Okay, we're done with that one for now. And we'll be moving on to the next one, I think. Yes. I don't remember if I show all three of these here or only two, but I guess I could have really stopped after the first one because you guys get the gist. Being that we're starting into the fall designs now, I'm going to do one more fall set after this. Next week will be a fall set. Excuse me. Then I'm going to be moving into Halloween stuff for a little bit. And then after the Halloween, I'll do a few more fall sets, and then we'll be moving on into Christmas. And just like that, the year is pretty much done already. I don't know where this whole year went. Okay, those have all been cured. I did all the rest of those, and now we're going to go on to the outer stripes. This one, and then the next set I do for fall. I'm trying to avoid using leaves on these first couple because I tend to get carried away doing fall leaves on everything for fall sets. So this time I didn't want to do that. I'm not going to do any leaves until I get done with the Halloween stuff. Then we'll come back to fall, and then I will do some leaf stuff. I'm thinking I'm going to do something with that hole punch with the gel smoosh like I did a while back when I did butterflies. I've got a leaf too. So I'm going to do the cutout leaf ones. We'll do something with that. And we got to get more of this. Okay, the ones that have the dark green down the middle of the stripe, I'm using the lighter green on the side stripes. And I'm just echoing the shape of this the swooshy thing. The swooshy stripe that goes down the middle, I'm just kind of echoing that along the edges where I can fit it in there. And I will flash these in between each, after I get like one nail done, I'll throw that in and flash it. Now I did have an issue with that, doing it that way. Some of my stripy things got a little wrinkle spots on them, which luckily smoothed out with the top coat, but I guess I should have just thrown them in for a full cure at a time, but I was trying to avoid doing it that way. I figured if I just flashed it, it would be fine until I could finish the rest of the rack, and then it would keep my stuff from spreading out. But it did that weird wrinkly thing too, which I don't really understand why that happened. But anyway, the one that has the lighter green in the middle, we're doing the darker green stripes along the outer edge. I probably could have used, well, never mind. I was going to say I could have used paint for this part, but then it wouldn't have matched my polish, so never mind, that wouldn't have worked. What I could have done, though, is use the Mud Gel's colors for the greens, but then I don't know how well the Mud Gel would disperse in the blooming gel. It probably wouldn't work because it'd be too thick. I'll have to try that on a side experiment sometime and see if it does. Alright, now those have all been cured. And we're going in on the outer edge still. We're going to go in with another row of, right up next to the side stripes on the outer edge, we're going to go in with the glitter polish again. Now I have sped this part up, obviously, as we know I don't paint that quickly. Okay, and am I going to show you another one of those? I guess I am. Okay. This part goes a lot faster because obviously you don't have much of a stripe to deal with. Plus I was getting a little more used to this brush by this time. Oh, one thing I was going to say is from starting with this set from here on out, I'm going to, in the description, I will give you a kind of a time reference on how long they took me to do. Like this particular one was a 2-afternoon set. And when I say that is I only work on stuff in the afternoons when I have a chance. So I generally have like an hour and a half to 2 hours in the afternoon on Monday and Tuesday to work on these. So most of them are going to be 2-afternoon sets. That way you'll have some kind of a rough idea of the time frame. Occasionally you're going to get one that's a 3-afternoon, and very rarely you might get a 1-afternoon one. I had one of those a while back, not too long ago. Okay, now is that it? Okay, those have all been cured. I've done all of them now. Now we're going in with the top coat. I'm doing glossy on these. I think they might have looked kind of cool matte too, but with that glitter polish there, I wanted to go with the gloss. Hooey. All right. I did have a little problem with I don't know if it was that one. It was my top coat wanting to separate on me again. That's so annoying to me. It was this one. Either that or there was a hair. Something was wrong with that. Oh yeah, it was separating at the bottom there. Plus I think there was a hair in it too. Okay. I just don't understand why sometimes the top coat likes to separate. It kind of like beads up, and I just have to keep going over it and over it and over it to smooth it out, and then I gotta quickly get it in there to cure before it starts to do it again. And I'm still seeing issues with that one. Eventually I'm going to get this in there to cure, and then we're going to move on to the crystals. Okay. Nope. Alright, are we ready? Yes. Okay, in it goes, and now we're done with that. Moving on to the crystals. I had to have a little more bling on these, so I'm going to use the regular gem glue that I've been using. I'm going to use these kind of fall color shifting crystals. Caviar beads, I will be using the rose gold. And then I have these, I don't know what you call these. I call them little freeform pebbles, but I'm going to use the gold ones of these. Yeah, I don't know what you would call these things. All of these embellishment things came from AliExpress. And those little pebbly things, though, I've had for quite a while, and I haven't seen those on there since, so I don't know. Those may be a little harder to find. But you don't have to use those. I mean, you could just do this all in crystal. But I wanted that for the organic look to it. And I'm going to just put on a kind of a swoosh in a similar way that I did the stripes down the middle of those others. We're just going to get a gluey swoosh going on here. At least I can see where the glue is. I might have a little more than I need in the middle, but let's start with the biggest one right in the center. And then we'll go with a smaller one on either side. And then I'm going to put in some of these little pebbly things. That one had a point on it, so I decided I could squeeze it in between there a little. Now these things, I don't know if they're fully like just some kind of metal that they've just dripped off of something and that's how they are, but the finish does not come off of these. So I think they're kind of like a solid metal. Although some of those other ones that are different colors, I don't know how they did those, but I do know that the gold will not rub off of these. Obviously, I've sped this up through here. So you don't need to worry about clear coating over them. That was what my point was I was trying to make. And we're just going to get them all where we want them. And then I'm going to go in with the caviar beads. Now I'm not putting these in between each thing like I would on an all crystal deal. I'm just kind of putting them in where I see the glue squooshing out a little bit. And there's a couple places I decided I wanted one and there wasn't any glue there, so I did get a couple things where I got glue to put on, but for the most part I'm just sticking them in where I see a lot of glue squished out, just to fill that in and kind of cover it up. I think I'm done. Am I done? Okay, if I am done, that's going to go in and cure, and there it goes. We're going to go cure that. Then on the pinkies, we're just going to do a little tiny bit at the top. We're just going to have one crystal in the center. and one of those metal things on the side, those pebbly things, and then one caviar bead at the end of each of those sides. And that will be all that goes on the pinkies. You know, I can't handle it having just a plain nail with nothing on it. It makes me crazy now. All right, now going in, this is the final thing. We're going in with top coat again. I'm going to butt it up right next to the edge of those just to cover up any gluey mess that may have slopped out. And actually, for once, there was hardly any gluey stuff I had to cover over, but I'm just doing it anyway. Plus, this will help to hold those things on better, although I usually don't have a problem with them coming off. Okay, we'll do the pinkies also, and then we will be done. I was leery of doing this because I didn't totally need to do this one, but I'm like, I'm probably going to have problems with it separating on me again, and I think it did towards the bottom. The other one I may have left alone because I don't think it had any gluey mess on it. And I didn't want to hassle with this top coat again. Okay, those are all cured, and here we are finished. If you like them, please give me a like, and if you want to see more, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I upload every Saturday a new set. Occasionally you might get something during the week, but not that often. And here they are after I have done my filtering and all that nonsense. Okay, thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Bye.